crises.co.za.
Welcome back to Brand Live Radio. You're here with your host, Wendy Lingobese. Today I'm joined by my radio station manager, Elveria, and my sound engineer, Andipe. So they felt that this topic today we're going to be talking about is a very interesting topic because they've also experienced our educational system in South Africa. So we're going to be talking about different things that affect the economy at the moment, and we'd like to highlight the fact that education is obviously a major issue in South Africa. And then you look at malnutrition and how do we go about solving these problems, not just looking at them in a segregated view, but really having a holistic view of everything. So thank you again for joining us. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So I was reading a report the other day, and I found that 80% of grade 4 learners in South Africa are illiterate. 80% of learners in South Africa do not meet the global reading standards. And I felt that was a shocking number. And I felt today we had to talk about, obviously, our educational system, because I honestly am worried about why 80% of grade 4 learners can't read. It's a very big problem because these guys are actually the future of South Africa. And as a society, we really can't plant oranges and expect apples. So we really need to do something to fix our educational system. And so we're basically just talking about the reading culture in South Africa. And my station manager here, Elveria, was talking about how she just used to read magazines when she was in primary. And I actually found that really funny. So Elveria, like, tell us more about what you used to do in the library when, as a kid. Because most of us did go to schools that did have the resources for us to study or read some more, but not a lot of people took those opportunities. So what do you think is the biggest contributor to people not reading?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me, Wandile. I'll first start by saying that I went to a public school. It wasn't that bad. We had a library, not big, but it was still a library, nice library with books. But the only thing in primary I looked forward to when going to the library, like you said, was for magazines. And every girl in my class will have to agree. To answer your question, I think where we come from, especially schools in the townships, there's just no culture of reading from home. Our parents don't read to us. They don't encourage us to read. That's only done at school. And for me, that's the major fundamental contribution of this unfolding reading crisis in South Africa.
And that is actually so true because one thing I've also noticed is that most African families don't have the culture of reading. So, for example, I was looking at more stats, and it says the average family in South Africa watches TV for 7.5 hours a day, and that's 52.5 hours in a week, and which converts to about 2,520 hours in a year. And basically what I was thinking, from those 7.5 hours, why don't people take 2.5 hours away where everyone in the house is sitting around the table, there's no radio playing, there's no cell phones, and there's no TV playing. Everyone is literally reading a book for 2.5 hours every day.
Sounds like a lot, but it's not. When you look at it, the time you spend watching TV, I feel honestly TV is just a waste of time.
It is. I honestly agree with you there.
And I'm an advocate for that. That reading, we should read. Reading is amazing. I fell in love with reading. Started falling in love with reading when I was in grade 10. And when I started reading, I felt how late I was. I should have been doing this a long time ago. We need to get there as a country. This is heartbreaking, the statistics.
Like it really is, because these people are the future of the country, and you get a lot of opinions and people saying, no, books are expensive. If you go to exclusive books, you'd pay about 300 rand for a book. But I've been to secondhand bookshops and I've gotten really good reads for like 25 rand. I've
That's
gotten.
even expensive. That's expensive. There's a bookshop I know. He was actually surprised because I have this book in my bag, and he took it and opened it and saw the price was 5 rand. And it was like, where did you get a book for 5 rand? I was like, hey, if you like this something, you'll find ways or shops where you can get it far much less.
I totally agree with you, because I don't know if you guys know thingy Cash Flow Quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki. So it's basically a personal finance book, and that book literally just changed the way I think about money and the way I see money. And I bought that book for 25 rand. So you can imagine the information is there. So I don't think people are taking initiative to go out there and find secondhand bookshops or find a book to read. So I think that's a major contributor to the crisis we currently have. And so when I saw these stats, it reminded me of Earl Nightingale's biggest quote. So
Yes.
Earl Nightingale was called the father of personal motivation in the US back in the day. He's like an all personal motivator. So he said, let me just read it to you guys. He said, there has been more gold mined from the mines of men than any mine in the world. Because if you think about it, whatever you put in your mind and you mine out again, I mean, all these ideas we've had in our lifetime, like Facebook, the internet, everything, it's all started from someone's thought. It all started from the mind. And so what are we putting in our minds to invest in our minds? So, and that's the power of reading. Because if you're just staring at a screen the whole day, how's that helping you? I don't have a TV. Like, I think last time I watched TV was before I left home, and that was in Chan. And don't judge me, guys. Last time I
I
went
don't
home
have a
was in Chan.
TV. When I visit people's houses, I get fascinated by the ads. And to them, it's like, why like this? It's TV. And to me, I'm not used to it. And I'm very critical. And I'll be like, why is this thing here? And people are amazed that I don't have TV. Ask Andy Pay.
Yeah.
He wonders how I live my life when I go home and don't watch TV.
Trust, I also don't have TV. And so another thing that reminded me was the fact that so like when I was talking about financial literacy with my one friend.
Yes.
So basically we were talking about how to improve the financial literacy standards in South Africa. And basically what he said to me was, how do you improve the financial literacy standards if people grow up in a society that teaches them how to spend? And if you look at TV, there might be 1 or 2 adverts in the 7.5 hours you're watching TV. There might be 1 or 2 ads that tell you tell you to invest in a fixed deposit or something. But majority of the adverts you're going to see on TV are going to be telling you spend your money, discounts here, spend your money. So those are the things you're actually feeding to your brain. So what you putting in your brain is literally you telling your brain to spend. And that's why I'm not an avid TV watcher or anything like that. I'd rather actually just read a book, and that's how I find my way to have fun.
One thing I've noticed is that people don't know that there's a book for everything. Like literally everything. And that's what's cool about reading. You want to learn how to draw, you can get a book for that. You want to learn how to be a new parent. You want to learn of how to be a better parent. There's a book for that.
That is so
everything. Finance.
Everything. And so it's also led to this problem in South Africa we have, where if someone didn't get a matric or something, and then they think things are going to happen, they can't do anything about it. But 2 weeks ago at the gym, I met this other old man, and we just started having a conversation. And so basically he was also like talking to me about the power of reading, sort of thing. And he was telling me he started reading at 35. At 35 years, he doesn't have a matric, but literally he says he got his first book at 35. And I think today he's like 60, 62. And he says he's never looked back. Since he got that book, he's never looked back, because he says he has a collection of more than 1,000 books now, which he passes on to his grandkids now. And that
I-
fascinated me because he told me
I'm
he's
fascinated.
yeah, same here. He told me he's been in the presence of Nelson Mandela, all those great people,
Yes.
but he doesn't have a matric, and it's all because he chose to educate himself. So now the biggest problem is, people think if you don't go to varsity, you're not educated.
Yes, and they forget that there's formal education and informal
Yeah, that's true.
education. It all depends on what kind of a person you are. If you really want to learn something, you'll find a way. You don't have to have a certificate with your name written that Wandile is qualified to be a chartered accountant. There's books.
There's-
It's 2017. We're going to 2018. There's no excuse.
That is so true. That is so definitely. I totally agree with you there, and so, because I was thinking, like, just to get into the political space a bit, just for like a minute, and then we're gonna go out again. So I think that's also like the biggest problem, because if you look at how strategic Zuma does these things, I think that's another thing where for the longest time, they've underestimated him. But people forget that Zuma went to Robben Island with your Nelson Mandela, all those guys, and those guys believed in the philosophy that everyone in Robben Island teaches another person something, and so that guy probably knows a lot in terms of like the different things he probably learned in Robben Island.
I always say this, that Zuma is not stupid.
He's
If
not.
he was, we could have gotten rid of him a long time
Exactly.
ago.
He's not at all. He's I think he's very, very like
I respect him. Like, it's that respect that, yeah, you're a hustler.
yeah.
You know what you want. And in some way, you're intelligent.
Yeah, he is. I totally agree with you. There. And so like another thing I noticed was like in high schools there isn't that culture where people are being motivated to read. And one thing I noticed, because I was a media prefect in high school, so whenever I had library duty and I had to sit at the library for my breaks, and one thing you'd notice is there's a very few people that consistently come to the library, that consistently get new books to read. They take a book, and when it expires, they bring it back, take another book. There's only a select few, and those people, I think, are the people who are striving right now. Those are the people who are making something of themselves, because on average, you'd see about 100 people in a year come to the library in a school of 750. And that's for me, that's pretty shocking. So if you look at our foundation alone has a problem.
I couldn't agree with you more. And another thing, I've noticed that libraries are only full during exam times. Other than that, no one is thinking about a library.
That is so true. I even realized that in varsity, where you just
You don't even find space when it's exam time. Yeah. No, everybody is there.
that is so true. You just made my life. But another problem I saw with that I think contributes to people not reading or having that culture of reading is obviously malnutrition, where people aren't eating right, people aren't putting the right nutrients in their bodies and feeding their brains properly. So obviously, if you're not eating the right food, you don't get that motivation, or your brain is not always active. So as soon as you start reading, you just want to sleep, sort of thing. And it's also another problem where if you go to your really poverty-stricken societies, you can't really expect them to eat the most healthy food every day. Because one thing I think I've noticed is that healthy food is pretty pricey. I mean,
is.
a price of broccoli is like 30. I mean, a price for a packet of broccoli is like 37 rand. And broccoli is like one of the best foods to have. for
And
your
it's
brain.
like a kg. 1
Exactly.
kg.
That's not enough to feed a family. I think that's just one meal for everyone. So if you look at some of those things, those are some of the problems we have. So that's why I think we should have a bird view or holistic view to things, rather than say, okay, no, how are we going to improve education? How are we going to improve this? But we need to put down all our problems. We need to put down all our challenges we're experiencing as a country, and find a holistic way to basically try to fix these problems. Because if someone went to schools like a private school or public school in the suburbs, they basically exposed to better things. They have probably better food at home because
Yes.
their parents can afford to take them to that school. Or even if they stay at the hostel probably gives them the right nutritional food. And so government does obviously try to provide.
I was about to go there.
Yeah, they do provide schools with food, but
Especially the Gauteng government. I don't know about for the government from other provinces.
I know in KZN they also do.
Okay. Because the schools I went to, because I still go there sometimes. I have this relationship with the teachers. They've started giving learners breakfast. So they have breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
And in some primary school, they have after school programs where they also offer them food, which is, they're trying. They don't.
They are. So, okay, very interesting topic today.
It is.
With my station manager.
I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. Thanks
I'm
for
also
having
having
me
fun.
again.
No problem. Let's just take a quick ad break and we'll be back in a flash.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio.
The Dramatic Talk with myself, Bongani Drama. Bringing you insightful conversations on the Convo Corner, your latest celebrity news on Dramatainment, and your latest fashion news on Fashion Fade.
This is Bongani.
And myself, Rose Rataka, bringing you your latest news and sports updates.
Every Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. Only on www.brandlive.co.za.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
The witty Tatterbots join myself, Carmen Murray, and my double trouble, Jessica McIndoe, with our big personalities, and we will present you with an insightful yet fun show.
We will feature interviews with industry heavyweights and unpack everything from new technologies, marketing trends, and case studies to empower you to be ahead of the curve.
Brand Live.
Join us on this exciting journey every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock and start a conversation on hashtag Witty Show.
Hashtag WITEE show.
Thank
You're
you.
listening to brandlive.co.za.
You're back again with me and my beautiful station manager, Elvira, at Brand Live Radio. You can follow us on Twitter and join the conversation at Brand Live Radio, or on Facebook at www.brandlive.co.za, or you can drop us an email at info@brandlive.co.za. So we're still talking about our educational system in South Africa. And so one thing I wanted to ask, what are the benefits of reading? Like, I feel like people don't read because they don't know some of the benefits of reading. So for me, I honestly think it allows you to critically think. And Alvera,
Yes.
like you mentioned just now.
I have to agree, yes.
And like you mentioned just now, that a lot of people read to cram and not to learn. And so that's I think that's the biggest problem, where people aren't reading to take information in, to develop critical thinking, sort of.
The best benefit I've gotten from reading is being able to make better conversation. Like, I sometimes surprise myself where I'll have a conversation with someone and I'm like, that was smart. I like what I said. And if I wasn't reading, if I wasn't going out there looking for information, I'm filling my vessel with substance, I wouldn't be here. So,
That is so true.
that's my favorite benefit of reading.
That is so true. And another thing I'd like to, like just ask quickly. So you go to a formal education institution sort of thing.
Yes.
And one thing I've noticed that the most important thing examiners try to develop in you is the ability to ask questions, is the ability to question. So let's say you get your exam paper and you have it required. They say analyze the financial statement of the company, or sort of thing. and for you to analyze
What
the
an
statement,
example.
yeah, like for you to analyze the financial statement, there's so many questions you're gonna have to ask yourself, like before you even get to the final answer. And so the ability to question is the most important skill you can have, because the people that question are the people that solve the problems. The people that go around questioning society or questioning things or questioning processes or questioning the way things have been done are the people that change the game, as we call them.
Brand Live is here because somebody was curious enough to find out about it. Or yes,
So definitely. So I think those are amongst the benefits of reading. If you're reading and you really in tune with what's happening in the book, you start to ask questions. You start to question a lot. You're like, okay, no, I get what the reader's saying, but how is this relevant in today's time? How can this be better? How can, those sort of things allow you to have conversations with yourself, first of all, and really have a conversation with the author, even if he's not there with you. So those are amongst the benefits, I think, and we really should do something as the youth to try and improve, obviously, the reading standards. Because if someone in grade 4 can't read, I really think it's shocking. At how old is someone that's in grade 4?
they should be 11.
11. Yeah. That's really shocking. Someone who's 11 can't read properly. And so I was also reading up on our education standards compared to the rest of the world, sort of thing. And I found we were ranked 148 out of 150 countries.
We like the second last.
Yeah, second last, more or less.
Number 2 from the back.
So I really think we should try to improve some of these things in society, and honestly stop focusing on some things that have already passed or already happened. We should be looking at a future-based solution country. We should be a future-based solution country where we're focusing on improving problems rather than focusing on so much of what's already happened and what's already passed. Because that's one thing I've noticed. Everyone is always talking about what's already happened, what's already been done. We can focus on trying to improve the things, the way we see the future. And those are the benefits of reading and really just knowing what's happening in other countries, because that's how you can bring those solutions in South Africa as well. And so for me, I believe the educational system should be a major focus as a country, and we should be worried as citizens if we get stats like these.
Then we wonder why crime rate in South Africa is this high.
And that is so true, because somehow some people have to eat at the end of the day. And if someone's not educated and they don't read and they don't see the opportunities other people see in society, they're obviously gonna resort to crime and end up taking from other people. So if we do not fix our educational system, it has a ripple effect on other things. I honestly think there's a correlation between poor education standards and the crime rate, sort of thing. So if we do not solve the education system, we bound to have a high crime rate where people are getting murdered on the streets just for the material things, sort of thing, because people want to survive as well, and people find crime to be a way of surviving.
According to a report released by the Progress in International Reading Literacy, it states that there's a gender gap in reading in South Africa, and South Africa is one of the second highest in this. So boys are doing worse than girls when it comes to reading.
Serious.
Yes.
But that makes sense. That makes sense. I know most boys are always running around playing soccer after school and doing, all these things. And girls are usually at home.
I remember in my time, primary school, girls were they passed more than boys. Yeah. I think it's like that or everywhere, especially in primary school. Girls will do better than when you get to high school. Boys do better than girls.
Yeah. And then after varsity, like the guys just
yeah.
I think it's the streetwise guys. As guys, we learn a lot of things outside, like just the education space. Because I know with most girls, like you guys after school, you just go home, you sit, probably watch TV, read a book or something. And as guys, we're usually out there making friends, learning more things, being inquisitive, getting into trouble sort of thing. And sort of those things do contribute to us growing up. So yeah, it's been a very nice show. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me.
Wow. I wasn't looking at the time, man.
Same
But
here.
I thought we still had more time. We still have a lot to discuss.
So like I honestly think.
I feel like that.
But oh well, our time is done for this afternoon, and you can follow us again on Brand Live Radio on Twitter, and on Facebook at www.brandlive.co.za. Or you can drop us an email at info@brandlive.co.za. We're about to play a song for you guys. The name of the group we're going to play is KK. These are twins from Durban, and the name of the song is Young Man, Young Man. So enjoy your Friday afternoon, and we'll talk again next week.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your Friday.
Bounce back, kush come. 20 choppers for the morning. Smoky, get a flight back. Sit down, tell a story. Young man. Look at me, look at them. Can't you see we had that ooh shit? Katie Yeager to the film.
Little nigga, look here. You about to disappear. Heard you take it from the rear. You should get up out of here. All day in the stew. Look at me, look at you. Big dudes coming through. Young boys coming through. On one, yeah. Few weeks on two. 2 beats, 2 chains. 2 rings, 2 coupes. These beats too strange. These niggas too lame. These niggas ain't gang. Watch me go poop. Little nigga, look here. Watch me disappear. Take a girl from the rear. Take a girl from a dare. All day in the stew. Look at me, look at you. Why you take me for a fool, man? I'm just doing what I gotta do.
I'm blessed. Me here, no stress. No stress. Me finna bounce back. Cause come. These niggas got stress. Me, I'm blessed.
Bounce back, kush come. 20 choppers for the morning. Smoky, get a flight back. Sit down, tell a story. Young man. Look at me, look at them. Can't you see we had that ooh shit? Katie Yeager to the fam. You don't really need to understand. Out here chillin', out here smoking dank. Loads of music, gotta need a tank. Shoot these niggas out the ceiling, man. Little nigga, they don't give a damn. Fake niggas getting real again. Lil' Mezzy been a minute, fam. Where you at? Gotta make some plans. Shaka, dab. Raining, flooding, find some cover. Dark days, we need each other. Bunch of men in berry clovers. See the sharks starting to chill a nigga real quick. Deep waters ain't safe, man. I think I need a kill switch. Look him up a real jit, so we know who's the hunter and who the fuck a real fish. Mind me back in 09. Way before I knew the vessel was a gold mine. I was by the shoreline, waiting to dismiss some feast that I ate with before time. Very true with inside your line. Hit her with a motherfucking 4-5. I know she like it, man. I'm so proud.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio.